Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This video is the Memoriam Race for Tarek, who unfortunately passed away this time last year, and this is just our race in remembering him and just letting his memory live on and honouring his name. So it is around Silverstone, and we'll be doing our best to put on a show as I leave the pit lane for qualifying. This first lap was pretty okay. It was in the 1 minute 26s, but it was a 1:26.8 if I remember correctly. So it could be better, which we do end up doing in the session. So as we come through the finish line lap, Lee Finley goes through for a 26.6, but we're coming through across the line, and it's going to be a 26.7. So it was a pretty decent lap, and that put us into P4 in this session, only 3/10 off pole position. So yeah, it was a pretty decent lap. So as we are moving on now for our best run in the session, it was 6 minutes left in the session, and it was a pretty decent lap, so I'll just let you watch it. So now as we're coming through to finish this lap has been pretty decent. There's only been one mistake, and that was going through Stowe, as we just got a little bit of a slide on. As we come across the line, this lap is going to be a 1:26.4, and yeah, that mistake only lost us a tenth, and that put us into P7 in for this race. Yeah, so the strategy is just going to be a straight soft medium. So now as we are on the grid for the start of the race, CPI Connor's in front of us, and it is lights out, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. We get a pretty decent start, pretty much matching Connor, but there's someone, Ashbest is on the right hand side. We've got 3 wide into turn 1. We get forced off the track a little bit, but now as we're going down to turn 3, we're down to P8. So we go down the inside. We have someone that's having a look, so we cover them off, and now there's chaos up ahead as we're going through to turn 4. We just mind our own business. We go around the outside of CPI Connor, and that is us up into P7. And IRT Matty just understeers into us and unfortunately hits us. So that's him spinning round, and we're up into P6 in this race. The guys ahead, they're battling really hard, so hopefully we can capitalise on that. So now we're going down through this right-hander here. We maintain position. CPI Corner tried it around the outside, but didn't quite make it work. But now as we're going down to Cops, we're right behind the car ahead, and CPI Corner goes down the inside of us and actually makes the move stick on me, and I lose 2 positions. So now as we're going down to the Manufacturers Complex, we're going side by side with Jack, and so we maintain it. We stick it around the outside, which turns into the inside, and we manage to defend a position, but he sends it down the inside of this right hander, but we get a good run on down to the hanger straight. So now we're overtake mode, rear rich mix, going down to Stowe. Hopefully we can get the move done. So as we're going down to Stowe, we're in the braking zone, we send it down the inside of Jack, and we are now up into P7 in this race. So, and it's at the end of lap 1. We going down to this final chicane now, as we actually get a hit from behind, which makes us go a little bit sideways, but actually gains us a bit of time on the cars ahead, ironically. So now there's going side by side with Ashbest and Gogello, I think his name is. So Ashbest actually makes the move and defends the move position brilliantly. So now as we're going down to turn 2 once again in this race, we get close right up to the car ahead. We actually make a bit of contact. Unfortunately, he was lagging a bit, so he glitched back into us, and that let Jack go down the inside. So we're now going side by side down the straight. We're going, so we need to make this move stick. We can't lose positions to this guy. We can't be held up. So now we send it round the outside. There's instant up ahead with CPI Connor, and he comes onto the track. So we stick it round the outside. down to second gear, short shifting up to fourth to get the traction, or third to get the traction, and we're now right behind him. And now going down to Cops. In the slipstream, we need to make the move stick so we can gain time on the cars ahead. So now into Cops, he makes a bit of a mistake, gets on the grass and goes straight on at Cops. So we gain the position, we're up into P6 in this race. So now as we move on to a lap later at the same place, we're now right behind the pack of cars ahead. Using this complex, as they hold each other up to gain as much time as possible, and now going down the hanger straight, DRS open, overtake mode engaged, rich mix on, we're going to try it round the outside and into Stowe, but we don't quite make it work. We run a little bit too wide, but it gives us excellent drive off the Stowe. It's down into the chicane, we send it down the inside, and we don't quite make it work as he squeezes us into the apex, so we don't get the run that we need to make it work. But now as we're going down the start-finish straight, Blizzard sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 30.2. We are second off that just due to being stuck in traffic. And now going for turn 1, turn 2, and now eventually turn 3. We send it down the inside. We don't quite make it work because he squeezes the apex, but we make a bit of contact. So that gets, but he maintains position, and now we are right behind him on lap 4 of this race. Now going down this straight, we have DRS. But now as we move on to lap 5, exactly one lap later, we send it down the inside into this left-hander here. Make a bit of contact once again, but we make the move stick. I give him the room as his front wing was still there. So now we're going side by side, we send it around the outside, and we're at 4th gear. Just need to get the drive. We're still in rich mix and overtake. We're using a lot of ERS at this point in the race, but we need to make this position so we have a chance of battling for the podium, and we get the move done before Cops. Brilliant stuff, and now we can press on until the pit stops and just try to gain as much time on the cars ahead. So now as we move on to lap 8, it will be our pit window, and Blizzard actually pit a lap earlier, but now as we go into the pits, we will be heading on to the medium compound tyres. It is a straight one stop in this race, so we need to maximise the time in the pit lane. We need to not make any mistakes with the clutch and all that, and we don't. We get out the pit lane very quickly. So now as we're on the pit exit, we get on the power quickly because we'll have a bit of a slide, but with no damage. We didn't do a Grosjean. But now as Steve Casper now is round the outside, we send it down the inside just to maintain position. If we lose a position to him, that will be damaging heavily to our races. We will be held up as he is yet to pit in this race. But now Julian is now the next car as he has lost positions in the pit lane, and he does hold the fastest lap of the race. So now as we head on to lap 10, we are now right behind SV Randy, who is still yet to pit. But we need to make the move ASAP to avoid being held up. But we do have DRS, which will help us. Non-ERS, but now we stick that up to high. We don't want to use too much ERS on this guy, as he is a back marker, but we want to get past as swiftly as possible. And now the next car is Jon Plyan, who is another car that has yet to pit. He'll be pitting onto the soft, so he could be someone to watch out for at the end of this race. But now we move on to lap 12 now. We are right behind this whole gaggle of cars. We have a bit of a half-assed attempt at going down the inside of Jon Plyan. We send it around the outside, stick it into second gear, now short shift up to third, try to get drive off the corner. We make it work round the outside of Jon Plyan, and it's brilliant stuff. We're going side by side now down to Cops. We need to make this move stick, so we're going to be going round the outside. It's going to be very tight, but we make the move work. So now we're ahead of Jon Plyan in P6 in this race. Next car, Stuart McKenzie, who, as we send it down the inside, but we can't make it work as Ashbest is right there. So we would have ran into the back of him. But now lap 13, they get a bit tangled up over each other. So now going onto the straight, we go down the inside of both of them, but we don't quite have the straight line speed that everyone else has. So Ashbest is going to go round the outside. I'm going to try it down the inside. Ashbest makes the move stick round the outside. Stuart McKenzie backs out of that, but now Ashbest makes a bit of a mistake. Stuart McKenzie goes back through. Ashbest is now side by side with us through this right-hander, and now we need to get this position because he's one of the people that are battling at the front. We're now in the slipstream going down to Cops. 7th gear, overtake mode. We don't want to be running too. We want to get this move done now, which we are unable to do. But now as we stick it into non-ERS, we don't want to be going side by side through Magnet Beckett's, as it's just not an overtake spot, especially with people that are as quick as you. So you can't exploit stuff. And now we're going down this straight. And Stuart McKenzie makes a bit of a mistake. We get through there, but we have DRS on Ashbest. But because he has DRS, we are unable to make the pass here. We just got to accept defeat. So now as we're on the run to Stowe, we get close right up the Ashbest, but we are unable to make anything of it at this point in the race. We don't want to spin out. Damage is off in this race, bear in mind, so we can afford to be a bit more aggressive. But so now we just got to make the moves stick as they come. So we're now on lap 15 in this race. They're going 3 wide into this left-hander, and Julian's lost 2 positions now, and they're battling it. They're battling so hard. We try to have a look down the inside of Julian, but we don't quite get the drive off the corner. So now we're in P4 of this race. There's the 3 leaders ahead of us, and they're going to go 3 wide into Cops. Brilliant stuff, and somehow they all make it through as Ashfest backs out. So now once again we are right behind them going into the Magnet Beckett's complex. As Blizzard and Julian go side by side. Brilliant racing, excellent stuff, and Blizzard makes the move stick, and Julian is now down to P2 after all that. So now we're going down the straight, DRS open, overtake. We don't have the fuel to go into Rich Mix, but we're making overtakes. So Blizzard's now getting under threat from both drivers. So now it's going through stuff. He manages to defend the position from Ashbest, but loses the position of Julian. So now Blizzard goes down the inside into the chicane. It's absolutely brilliant racing to watch. But they make a bit of contact on the right-hander, and but Blizzard is through. He makes a mistake going on to the start-finish straight, which lets Julian back through an Ashbest and vulnerable to Ashbest. So now they're going to be going through on lap 16 in this race. Send it down the outside of Ashbest. We try to make the move work so we can try to press on and attack Blizzard. But now on this left-hander we don't quite get the traction, and we actually get a bit of contact from behind, and we accidentally change camera view in the process. But now we are down to P5 in this race as the car ahead just got caught up in the whole incident. But it was just now. So now the 4 cars ahead of us, lap 17 in this race. The race will be finishing on lap 15, lap 25. So that way we can just honour Tarek and do some donuts and have some fun with it. But now we are going down the inside of both Ashbest and the other driver. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Simo is actually right there. He takes advantage of this whole situation, and I still don't gain any positions. But now going down, we try the same move on Simo as we did on Ashbest. We send it around the outside, and we can't quite make it work once again. But we give him much less space on the exit, and we are able to make the move stick. But we are still running side by side now down this straight. DRS open, Rich Mix. We're burning a bit of fuel we don't have spare, but now we send it down the inside, side by side. We do squeeze him a bit on the exit, but now we're going into this right-hander, stick it into 2nd gear. Now short shifting up to 4th gear. Tyres are dying at this point in the race, so traction is a bit iffy. So now we're going side by side, we go right in the slipstream with Simo. We're going to try it around the outside of him into Cops, and we make it work. We're running very wide just due to the penalty system and all that, but we're getting a legal overtake. We lift off going through just on the run down to Maggots Beckett's, but now we make the move stick going down to just going through this whole section. Now we're going onto the straight. There's 3 cars ahead of us, Julian, Blizzard and Ashbest, so we need to get as close to them as possible in the dying stages of the race so we can attack. But now as we're going down as we're going down this straight, Ashbest decides he wants to go bowling and takes all 3 of them out. We go into the pause menu, but that puts us up into P1 in this race. Absolutely brilliant stuff, and we have a shot at winning this race against some of the fastest people in the game. And I know there's not been practicing, but I will take it. So now we're on lap 21. Driver behind, Gogelio, is just sends it around that side. We don't attack it too much. We're running low on DRS, so we'll just stick it into none and just let him go past. But now at the same place, directly the next lap, we are right behind him. Just need to get a better run than him, and we will have DRS down this straight. Just stick it into overtake, even though we're probably derating at this point due to lack of DRS. But now we send it down the inside, fake to the left, go to the right, and we make the move stick, and we're back up into P1 in this race with 3 laps to go. So now as we're going down on the exit of Stoke, we're building a gap, and on lap 23 into turn 3, we get a bit of contact from behind from Gagalio, and that means he's gone past, and Lee Finley is going past as well, and it's just left us vulnerable on the straight. And because we don't have DRS, it means that Blizzard's going to have a chance to attack us. So now as we're going down to this left-hander here, we send it to the inside so he has a worse line. We try it around the outside. We get them on the power ASAP. We make a bit of contact as I have very minimal room, but now we're going side by side. He gets on the exit of this corner, going down to Cops now. So now as on the run to Cops side by side, he just has more ERS than me. He's got more pace. So I tried to do a switchback like we did on Ashbest earlier in the race, but it doesn't work as he covers it off, and we are now down to P4 after leading at the start of this lap. Just absolutely unfortunate stuff. The guy behind made a mistake, and we lost so many positions from it. So now we're on lap 23 now, on the start finish rate. We're going to have another attack at Blizzard, but I accidentally got up into 8th gear too early, which means we slow down on the straight and stick it down to 7th again. That means we do have a bit of a run, but now we're just not close enough to attack into Stowe. Just to the nature of the corner, we couldn't send it down the inside. But now Blizzard goes down the inside into the chicane, the move that he's been doing all race, and it's just making it work every single time. But now Gorgelio gets a bit sideways. We run into the back end. Thank God for no damage, otherwise that would be definitely no front wing for us. And we are now we're still in P4 with 2 laps to go in this race. So lap 24 now, going down to turn 3. We're trying to catch up to Gorgelio as much as we can. But now there's the 2 leaders ahead, Blizzard and Lee Finley. They're now battling for the users. We're pushing up, wheels off. We've got the RS, but it's not going to be enough. We're at lap 24 of this race. Yeah, it's just unfortunate how things have played out. So we're now right behind Steve Blackon, who actually disconnected in this race. We're now right behind Gorgelio. We're pushing unbelievably hard. Now on the run to Cops, we're just not closing in. That's the issue. We're not closing in enough, and it's just unfortunate how this race has played out, as we just don't have the thing. We get another corner cut, track extension warning. So now going down to Megates Beckett's Chapel, we're now closing in quite a bit on Gorgelio. We have the RS, and he gets a bit on the grass, so we have a bit of a run. So hopefully we'll try and stick up into overtake. Not really doing much. We are now 4 tenths off on our best lap, and we're going through Stowe now. Lap 24, we have a bit of a wide line as he gets on the grass, so hopefully we can have a bit of a run. We get a bit of a slide on the exits that minimises our chances. So now as we're heading on to the final lap of this race, and right behind this gaggle of cars, we need to make them at least one move now to finish on the podium. So we set the fastest lap of our race, 129.9. We're right behind Gorgelio. He's losing contact on the cars ahead. We have one chance, and that is it. We were thinking about having a move down the inside, but we just weren't close enough. And now Gorgelio right behind him. I think he is just about in DRS range, which is just unfortunate. We're now Simo is right behind us in P5. He could be having one on us as we lose a bit of time to Gorgelio down to the start fit, down the straight. So now with this left hander here, we've got to make up as much time as possible. 4th gear, 3rd gear now. Short shift up to 4th, and now going down to 2nd for this corner. We try to gain, we're just pushing so hard, we just can't catch him. And we're so equally matched on pace, it's just unfortunate. So now as we're going through down to Cops, we are up on our sector one time just due to having DRS. We've got to have a better run through Cops than Gorgelio. Send it down. In the slipstream, we're just trying absolutely anything, pushing so hard. We just don't have any ERS either. So now we have DRS. Unfortunately he does. If he didn't, we would have a shout at this. But we just stick in the slipstream, just trying absolutely anything. As Blizzard and Lee Finley going side by side into Stowe, and that is for the lead of this race. As we go through the final few corners now, Lee Finley is battling Blizzard, and Blizzard actually gets the move done. Lee Finley cuts the track a little bit, but now they're going side by side down to the line, and Blizzard wins the race. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And now, in memory of Tarek, as we calm down from this race, we'll be doing donuts on his final lap. I never knew him personally, but yeah, I raced with him in my F4 days, and he was a great person. So once we calm down from that race, including this bit, I am out of fuel at this point, but I thought it was important to show, even though the F1 community is divided most of the time, it can unify for these special events, and it's really heartwarming to see this. So now as we look at the standings of this race, the results are irrelevant at this point, because just due to the donuts and all that. but we come through for P4 in this race, and it was a really lovely thing to do. Props to the CPI guys for setting this up. CPI Schumacher is his brother, I'm pretty sure, so it was just really nice to see him involved and seeing CPI Schumacher name racing again. Yeah, it's just a really nice thing to set up. So if you F1 2020 is around the corner, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.